from college would not let go of me and would cry every single time I put him down.
When I was really little, about 2, my sister Elizabeth went to college. I was very sad because she was like another mom to me. So I was really sad that she left. When she came home for a visit, I wouldn't let go of Elizabeth, and I would look on my mom's phone and yell, "Where are you, Elizabeth?" and stuff like that.
My name's Cameron, and I'm passing the phone to someone who was born without a heartbeat and didn't breathe for 5 minutes after their birth.
They had to cut my mom's belly for me to be born, and I was born without a heartbeat. They did a CPR on me because they were trying to get my heart go. And it took about 58 seconds for my heart to be beating on its own. And I'm alive today to tell the story.
I'm Sarah, and I'm passing the phone to someone who fell out of a tree 9 feet on his 8th birthday.
On my 8th birthday, my mom threw me a surprise birthday party. It didn't really go as well as we expected. As I was climbing a tree, I fell out of it. I went to the ER and then laid in this bed for 5 hours. It wasn't that bad. Just couldn't walk for a while.
Hi, I'm Rebecca, and I'm passing the phone to someone who decided to give themselves a haircut when they were 2 and ended up being bald for a year.
I went into my mom and dad's closet, which is right over there. I got some school scissors and cut my hair really close to my head. Mom and dad couldn't fix it, and so they had to shave my head bald. And I had to wear a hat for a year, which is very annoying. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I'm Elizabeth, and I'm passing the phone to someone who has written a novella.
I really like to read and write, so like creative writing. I'm not one of those weird people who's like, I'm going to explain the different functions of a piece of paper. Love it. No, I'm gonna write a story about a rogue and an elf, and then I'm gonna kill him. That's basically what I do. So very sad stories. But I have completed writing a novella called Sun and Moon, and it's about this girl named Maya who is having to choose between a commitment to her friends or a commitment to the right side of things. Read it. It's good, I think. You can find my stories on dragonheartreader.com. One word. So
Passing the phone to someone who told the dentist they wanted to name their baby brother Satan.
So the story is when I was three or 4, I was at the dentist and he was asking me questions like, how are you? How are your siblings, etc., etc. And first, I remember he asked me what I wanted to name my little brother. And I have been told this story many times. And the first word out of my mouth was Satan. For those of you who don't know who that is, it's a bad person. So.
Hi, I'm Hyatt, and I'm passing the phone to someone who is in advanced chamber orchestra as a freshman.
Hi, I'm Rebecca, and this is my explanation for the passing the phone challenge. So, first off, talk about the one that Hyatt passed me, and that was chamber orchestra. So, last year I got into chamber orchestra as a freshman, and chamber orchestra is basically like varsity sport. So usually you do 2 years of orchestra before it, and then you do chamber. But my orchestra director has us do auditions, and then, well, all chamber orchestras do like auditions. They're kind of like tryouts, but he just has us take the other class with it. So I took 2 orchestras last year, and chamber was really fun, and I met a lot of new people, made a lot of new friends, played some really fun, hard music. We went to Pocatello on a trip, which was super fun. And you know, we did a lot of different things as chamber orchestra, because there's less of us, and you know, it's just really, really fun. And then I actually enjoyed it so much that I did it again this year, where I'm taking 2 orchestras again this year, which, by the way, takes up a lot of electives. So I have to figure out when I'm going to take other classes like speech, but I would definitely say it was kind of worth it. Last year, though, there was only 3 freshmen in chamber, and it was me and then my 2 friends, Naomi and Liam, and they both play viola, and then I play cello, and I've been playing for years. I think probably like 6+, 5+, around there. But yeah, I really like it, and you know, it was really fun to be in chamber. Hi, my name is Hannah. I'm passing the phone to someone who ran into a keypad and broke her teeth. I was running from the cops, and it was like midnight up in Idaho City, and I kind of just ran into this thing, and then the cops took me away. I'm just kidding. Well, mostly. But we were playing Fugitive, which is like a big kid version of Cops and Robbers. So everyone who's like the cop, they drive in like a car or like on a dirt bike or on a 4-wheeler or something like that. And then the rest of us are running. And I really don't know Idaho City that well, but my cousins were playing with us, and so I was following them, and we were just barely at the start, right outside of the neighborhood, and you know, it's go time and everyone's running, and I was like, oh, so I started running too, and I was following my cousins because I didn't want to get left behind. I was gonna get lost, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, I'm on the floor, on the ground, I guess, because it was just dirt. And it turns out I ran into this little black keypad that's outside of the neighborhood to like get you in, which I say is fair because it was pitch black and it was a black keypad, because we were playing at like 12, but you know, I am just kind of clumsy. Anyway, I broke these 2 teeth right here on the top, and I split my lip, and I also sprained my ankle. And I stayed for the rest of the weekend, and we did 4th of July stuff. It was really fun. I mean, definitely not worth it, but fun. I ended up needing to get microsurgery. I've had multiple root canals. I have braces now. But yeah. So, lesson is, don't run into things with your face.
Hi, my name is Cameron, and I'm passing the phone to a boy who, when he was really little, took our cordless phone to a park that was just in range of our house. And then we started getting 911 calls to the police station or to 911 from our house because some other kid found it and thought it would be funny, repeatedly. So we finally had to unplug the phone from the wall to prevent 911 calls to going out from our phone system.
When I was younger, I don't remember the age, young enough that I was playing around on the street and in parks alone with my friend, Rylan Rhodes. We were biking through the neighborhood, and there was a family who had set out 4 ATV tires and had a big sign that said free. So me and Rylan, being, 7 years old, decided to roll those free tires. We took them and we rolled them to a public park in our neighborhood, between our houses. And there was this big pine tree there that we were like, we can put these in the tree and make like a tree house in the pine tree. So we worked together, hoisted these tires. They were, they didn't have anything in the middle, so you could go through them. And we put them up in the tree. We put 2 in the tree, and then we left 2 at the house, at his house. And we decided to make it kind of like a base of operations, because of course we're kids. So I went back to my house and I grabbed a couple metal plates, and I grabbed our home phone so that we had, things there, because it's our base of operations. So we can make calls, we can eat food, even though, there's no food to be eaten. It was just kind of the general idea. So at that point, we had, our supplies, we had the tires and the trees, and it's time for me to go home. So I go home, I left everything there, and some neighborhood kids found the home phone, and they started dialing 911 over and over and over again. And my dad had an app hooked up on his phone so that anytime any phone in the family dials 911, he gets notified so that he can figure out what's going on, what the problem is, which is a really neat idea. He's getting notified and he's running through the house saying, who's calling 911? What's going on? What's the problem? And I was just like, I don't know. Nobody was calling 911, and we couldn't figure it out until I admitted that I had left the home phone in the park. And so we assumed some neighborhood kids got to it. I don't know if we ever found the phone, but I know that I got a big talking to, and I learned a valuable lesson that you shouldn't leave personal belongings or valuable things in public places, because you never know who's going to get a hold of them.
Hello, my name is Mary, and I'm passing the phone to someone who made it to the semifinals in the Idaho State Musical Theater Competition.
In junior year of high school, I entered into the regional drama competition with a musical theater piece. Me and 3 of my classmates entered in, and we went to a semi-local high school and performed for 4 different judges, and they graded us, and we ended up making it to state with our piece. We performed a piece called Tell My Father from the Civil War, which is a musical. We threw it together in under a week before, so we were not prepared. Us 4 guys didn't even know that we were going to do a piece together until our teacher was like, hey, you guys are going to do this, by the way. And we were like, okay. So we went and we performed, and we ended up making it to the state competition. So everyone in Idaho who went on, and they only selected a fraction of all those who participated in their regional competitions. So at state, we were performing against all the best in Idaho. We did our piece over and over and over again for all the different judges in all the different rooms, and against the other people. And there were some really amazing competitors. So lots of people who had it together. And by then, we kind of were getting the hang of our piece, even though we weren't as prepared. And we were waiting for the announcement of whether or not we were going to make it to semifinals, which is 16 out of the 500 pieces. And we were checking the list on our phones, and we saw our number EMT 137, and we made it to semifinals. We performed, and that's as far as we made it.
The phone to someone who always thinks they're Peter Parker when they wake up from surgery. Spider-Man or Peter Parker. When I have surgery, or when I have had surgery, I have this funny thing that happens whenever I do. I think that I am Spider-Man when I wake up from surgery. And I think it's hilarious. Well, I don't know where it came from, because Spider-Man is not my favorite superhero. But I've had many encounters where I wake up and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm Peter Parker, and I am gonna be shooting my web shooters, or, you know, go save New York, whatever it might be. But it's been pretty consistent. Other than my last surgery that I had a couple weeks ago, I don't think I was Spider-Man, but for all the other ones, Spider-Man was there.
Hello, my name is Mary, and I'm passing the phone to someone who once flew over 5 sleds and was caught by their cousin.
When I was little, we went sledding at a place called Grimes Creek, and it was like a big family event where we'd get all of the extended family together and we'd all go together. And on my mom's side of the family, which is the family we'd go with, I am part of the younger family, and so my mom is the youngest of 8 kids, and so her oldest sister's kids, you know, are quite a bit older than me. They're closer to my mom's age than they are to my age. But that didn't stop us from all having fun together. And so I remember I was like 5 years old, something like that, and I went sledding, obviously. And when I got down to the hill, I was like, man, I can't get up. My tube had gone further than I had, and so I started crawling towards my tube, and that's when I heard watch out, and I was like, what's going on? So I turn around and I see this huge train of tubes coming at me, and the first one hit me, and I can't remember if my cousin who caught me was in the first one, if he just like reached up and grabbed me after I had gotten flung up into the air. But what had happened is I got flung up when that first tube hit me, and then my cousin Joe, he grabbed me from midair and just pulled me down, and we continued going down the hill, and it was crazy, but it was super funny at the same time. And it's really funny that I can still, you know, somewhat remember that event from when I was like 5 years old.
Hi, my name is Aaron Watson, and I'm passing the phone to someone who broke their back with a four-wheeler and a rock.
Aaron said that I broke my back with a 4-wheeler and a rock. And while I don't know where the rock came from, I definitely did break my back, and I was 4-wheeling when it happened. But it was the 4th of July, and our family loves to go on adventures and do fun things with family. Every year for the 4th of July, we go swim in the water hole up in Idaho City, and at this time we were 4-wheeling. We don't do that anymore. I wonder why. And I got to go out with my dad on this trail that was really beautiful. We got to the top, and it was a nice view. We took some pictures. And then he had told me that I should ride in front and set the pace, and I was like, okay, I'll set the pace. And I do enjoy a little bit of adrenaline rush, and I enjoy going fast, I guess. But I was going pretty fast, and 4-wheelers are a little harder to control when they're going fast, especially when you're turning. And we were coming down, and I kind of left Dad in the dust. Like, he was a little ways behind me, and I came upon this curve, and I was not able to turn. I was moving the handlebars, but the vehicle just kept going straight. And so I went up onto the mountain, because the trail was kind of like cut into like a steep hill kind of thing, and almost came to a complete stop. But when I bailed off the vehicle, I bailed under it, and it rolled on top of me. Well, I fell, and it had rolled on top of me, and somehow I ended up pinned by the four-wheeler, and I definitely had some thoughts like, wow, my back is broken. And some of it was very humbling, very scary experience. But it's nice that I can look back and remember a lot of positive experiences that came from that one experience. But as far as the rock goes, I wonder if he was just thinking about the mountains. I don't know. But yes, that's how I broke my back.
I'm Sarah, and I'm passing the phone to someone who, after they went on Trek, which is a wilderness hike, came home and was baffled by the feeling of having ceilings.
My mom said that she was passing the phone to someone who came home from Trek and it felt weird being inside because the ceilings were there. And I do very much distinctly remember that experience. So our church does an event called Trek. They do it, I don't know if it's like every year or like a rotation. I think it might be every 4 years, but we did this trek, and basically it's just in honor of our ancestors who had to trek. Whether it was, from another country to America or across America to get out here. And we focus a lot on putting ourselves in their shoes and learning about our family history and what it may have been like to live in a time where transportation and technology were not so openly accessible or even invented yet. And so we go on this trek, and I think it was 5 days, and you walk a bunch of miles per day, but we're walking out in this land that is so open. Like, there were trees and brush and stuff in some places. Some areas that we walked through was a little forested, but a lot of the hike and a lot of the trek was in these open fields, and, well, not really fields. We were in Banks, Idaho, which it's not very flat. So hills, mountains, I don't know. Anyways, when we got home, I felt like it was a sensation very similar to when someone's been in the ocean for a long time in the waves and kind of get rocked back and forth, and then they get out and it's like they're still being rocked. It was like that. It was like when I went inside, it was like the ceiling was like gonna come on top of me because I was just so used to being in all this open space. But I love the outdoors, and I have yet to experience that phenomenon again, but it was really cool.
I'm Rebecca, and I'm passing the phone to someone who I shared a bed with and who, quote, told me that the wall was my friend and to hug and kiss it.
When I was a little teenager, a little bit more bratty than I am now, hopefully, I shared a room with not only Rebecca, but also with Rachel and Mary, and maybe some other people, I can't remember. But what would end up happening is she would get all in my space. And as a teenager, I was just annoyed that I had to share a bed, and I was like, And so my dad, as a young kid, in order to help us fall asleep, because if we were looking out at other people, we wouldn't fall asleep. So he's like, face the wall. I kind of changed that a little and said, kiss the wall, face it. The wall is your friend. Don't look at me. Don't touch me. Don't anything. As we shared a bed together. So that is the story of why I told Rebecca to hug and kiss the wall, and it's her friend. And it's because I was an annoying teenager who just wanted some space.
Hi, I'm Matthew, and I'm passing the phone to someone who has a lot of games.
So something I'm known for a lot when it comes to the family is having games. And I know Matt and Aaron love to play games with me. And so when he says that I have games that are over $20. I'm sure there was one point in time where he's like, how much do those games cost? And I just said, oh, about $20. And I've got over like 20 games that I've owned, and I want to be the family that has the closet full of games that we can just play with friends, because I saw and grew up with friends who had that and I loved it. So that's my explanation for why Matt was like, she's got games that are just $20 and it's crazy.
Hi, I'm Hannah, and I'm passing the phone to someone who doesn't look old enough to have 8 kids.
So apparently I look too young to have 8 kids, and my theory on that is that we're just rare, because most women don't have 8 kids. They have 3 kids in the same space that I had 8 kids. So I'm not any younger than they are. I just packed in more kids and having more kids. Do I look younger than 45? I don't know. I feel 45, so, you know, I did put makeup on for this video just so that I could have a better chance of looking younger than 45. And most people do think I look younger than I am. Not that I'm going around asking, but when they find out that I have 8 kids and that my oldest is 24, they're like, whoa, you look like you're in your 30s, and which is really nice. But I will say that when I was young, everybody thought I was older than I was. So that was kind of weird because, you know, I was 14 and one of my brothers had just got home from a mission, and the lady that was taking our photos was like, which one of you is older? And I was 14. I mean, my teeth were coming in. I was like, how can you not tell that I'm 14? But apparently I looked a lot older than I was when I was young. So I don't know. It's a weird conundrum.
Hi, I'm Matthew, and I'm passing the phone to someone who thought a vending machine had a time limit, and instead of getting like a treat, she got nuts and gave the nuts to her dad.
The story of the peanuts. So my brother was in a really bad motorcycle accident, and he was in a coma for 6 weeks when I was young. And we never got money for treats at the store or anything. We never even went to the store that I recall. I mean, if we went to the store, it was to pick up the discarded food in the back, you know. So we lived a lot off the land, and so getting money to get a treat out of the vending machine was a huge deal. And when we were in the hospital, when my brother was in the hospital and we were there with my parents, my brother and I, he's older than me, my brother's older than me, but we were, you know, they were like, let's get rid of the little kids so that we can discuss things with the doctor. And so they gave us money to go to the vending machine, and I was so excited because, you know, Doritos and Snickers bars and all the things that I dream of because I'm a compulsive overeater and I obsess about food. But the food was just like, oh my goodness, all these choices. And I thought once I put the money in, I thought I had a time limit on how fast I had to push the buttons. And so I pushed the buttons as fast as I could. I hadn't made a decision yet, and I accidentally got peanuts. And I was so disappointed, and I wanted my dad to know how disappointed I was, so I gave him my peanuts because I was like, maybe if I give him my peanuts, he'll give me more money to get a different treat. And you know what? That didn't happen, but it was like one of the most disappointing stories that I tell my kids that they think is so sad because I got peanuts when I could have gotten all the treats that I wanted, that I'd ever wanted. So that's my peanut story. It's pretty funny. I'm passing the phone to someone that I cut a Lycra suit off of.
One time, my wife had to cut me out of a Lycra suit. It was a beautiful teal color, and it was made for someone way smaller than I was. At the time, I was 6'8", probably 360 pounds, And I thought it would be cute to get into this suit that was designed for a petite person because it was so stretchy. Well, the stretchy had a limit. I got it on and then I couldn't get it off. And every time I tried to get it off, it caused pain in different places, whether it was digging into my shoulders or down the other end. So my wife used a pair of scissors, cut it, and then peeled me out of it.
Hi, I'm Erin, and I'm passing the phone to someone who made me fill the cup with ice before putting soda in it.
On the way up to camping, I stopped at Maverick and I got all of my family a double extra large soda from Maverick using refills because I had a lot of these cups. The problem is my 7 and 9-year-old, they're not going to drink 52 ounces of soda and be able to make it up to the campsite. So in my genius thinking, I was like, let's just fill it all the way up with ice before we put the soda in. And I did, and they noticed.